Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the Ask Video Mail for the week of December 31st, 2012. Welcome to the site to all you new members and welcome back to the old members. The Ask Video Mail is your chance to get your question in character animation or performance answered in a video just like this one, but I need your question if I'm going to answer it, so please send your questions to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions and I pick out the ones I think will help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it's the best way to get the most out of the site. Last video mail of 2012. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member and for making this place what it is. If you don't know, I just want to give you a few tips out of making the most of your membership here at KennyRoy.com. There is still a 5-day bonus. You get 5 days free added to your subscription if you fill out a testimonial for the site. It's really easy. Just go to the bonus programs over there on the right. And you can read all about it. And also, there are referrals. Not very many people take advantage of the referrals. I'm not sure why that is, but it is instantaneous, it's easy, and it's free. And all you have to do is have your friends sign up with your username in their member refer box when they sign up and they fill out that form. When they do that, when they put your username in that box, it automatically credits you with 30 days free if they sign up for 30 days or 60 days, and 60 days free if they sign up for a year. Also, there is a bonus for people that you sign up who use the free trial. So there's really no reason not to have all your friends check it out and sign up, and even if they all use the trial, cancel before 30 days and don't stay on on the site, you still will get all that free time for referring them. So no reason not to check that out, okay? And there's also an affiliate program. You can read about the affiliate program in the menu as well. So just make the most out of your subscription here on KennyRoy.com. You know, might earn some free time, and with the affiliate program, if you have affiliates or people sign up with your affiliate ID, you could actually earn money on a monthly basis. Pretty cool. Well, that's a pretty sweet thing. So I think that's it for announcements. I mean, wrapping up the year, it always feels like the excitement of new beginnings is upon us, and here we are. So just thank you for a great 2012, and I promise 2013 is going to bring a lot to the site, a lot of awesome things to check out. Please stick around, and we'll work hard, and we'll kick butt together. This week's question is a little bit of a animation studio insider kind of question. I like to answer these every once in a while. We haven't had a question like this in a really long time, but I like to answer them every once in a while. So let's take a look. Cool. Great question. So to narrow it down just a little bit, I should explain the difference between the different kinds of studios. There is what I call the feature animation, like the Pixars and the DreamWorks and whatever. Then there's the visual effects, which is like the Weta, the ILM, that kind of thing. And then below that you have boutiques, which might actually do a lot of work in different areas. And so it might be animation for TV commercials. They might work on visual effects for film and television. They might do short films, that kind of stuff. That's what we do here at Arconics. I am a very, very, very small studio, but I do a little bit of work on feature films. But mostly I do visual effects for television that involves characters and involves creatures, and animation for television commercials. Most of my work is for the same client, Mattel, actually. But that being the case, you should know that there's a lot of difference between those kinds of things. The higher up you go, it's always the less control you have. It's always that way with every industry. It's always the you have to give up a lot of control in order to be a part of a really, really big picture. Why? Because too many cooks won't spoil the broth when you have like 3 shots. And that's what we have here at Arconics. When we do a commercial for Mattel, it's normally like, 3 shots, 4 shots for a commercial. If every animator like takes that shot and really makes it their own and really stretches themselves and pushes really hard, well then that's great. It's fantastic. That's you want that. You want everyone to, in a small studio to be really pushing themselves every day. And the way you do that is you give people ownership. You allow them to take big strides and to try to put everything they can into a shot. But as you go bigger and bigger and bigger, just imagine the chaos that would ensue if every single shot you got, like you got your description or your kickoff or your storyboard, and you were just like, that's great, but like, all right, I'm gonna put that aside. What if I really went crazy on it and did this, this, and this? So that's kind of the name of the game. It would just be so much chaos if that's what you did. So you have to stay very close to the storyboard. Normally the people in the story department are working with the director extremely closely, and especially with some high intensity, like the performance shots, the really, really, really calm, quiet, subtle kind of acting shots that you may get. You can't break from that. You really can't break from that. It's up to you to just put everything you can into achieving exactly what the director is thinking on that. Whereas again, in contrast, here we'll get boards and it'll say like, John Cena is a wrestler for like a Rumblers commercial, right? John Cena, body slams Rey Mysterio and then turns and gives us like a look or something like that. And the animator might have him slam and then turn and then give like a big kind of like double thumbs up, or they might have him flex his muscles or whatever, and something that's totally not in the board. And the client might just go like, oh, that's awesome. Or what happened recently was the client said like, oh, he looks too mean now. Because the description on the board we got said John Cena celebrates with like a kind of like a wry smile, like a sneer or something like that. And the animator took that and ran with it, and now we got the note back. Oh, he looks too mean. So you'll be redirected as well, even at the lower levels, even in the smaller studios. Okay, so really what it comes down to is what do you want to do? And I know we don't all have the kind of freedom that you can decide really what you want to do. I mean, my studio, I have to take every single project that comes my way. I just have to, because I don't know when the projects are going to dry up. So something comes my way, I say yes to everything, right? So I don't even, I mean, some people might think like, oh, Kenny runs a studio, like he's so lucky he gets to do whatever he wants. Well, no, actually not really, because someone comes to me with a toothpaste commercial and I have to animate, bacteria being scraped off, like 3D teeth. I have to take it because I don't know when the character work, when they might, say like, oh, no more toy commercials for you, or no more VFX for you, Kenny. You know what I mean? So, and I know as, animators, if you're trying to enter the industry, you'll probably take anything because it's like, it's animation and you just want to do it. This question is kind of a little bit, I mean, it sort of answers itself in one way. But one thing that I did want to mention in my answer to this question was that I have, kind of stretched my muscles or flexed my muscles a little bit, and it kind of has come back to bite me. So I'll tell you actually 2 stories. One's kind of like a scary story, and one's like a great story. All right. I can't remember the shot now, unfortunately. I can't remember the shot, but I do remember I it was on Garfield, I remember, but it was one of the sequences. Unfortunately, I have the knack of working on sequences that are cut. I had like 6 shots in Garfield that were cut. From the film, and I had like, I had a lot more on Kong, entire sequence that was cut. But at any rate, I remember the board had him doing this little performance like to this cat, and I had him like lift his paws up off the ground and actually start gesturing with his hands. And I remember the animation director, or maybe it was just my direct supervisor, basically said like, you can't do that, and like it's a little scary. Like we're kind of like the soups and I are like talking like you kind of like really flew off the handle there. We got to know that when you get like you get the scene, it's prevised. You know, you even able to start from previs, and you get a clear description, and you get a board, and then you go and you add these gestures. Like it kind of freaked us out. Like, are we okay? Like, are you on track here? You know what you need to do, right? So, lesson learned, of course, and I explained like I'm sure they knew that the goal was to just really make this into like a fantastic shot and make it really really awesome. But it wasn't my place. It wasn't my time. I was trying to stand up and stand out in the middle of like just like this conversation between two cats. It was this whole scene where Garfield and Nermal are outside, and he's trying to he sees a lasagna or like a pie in a window, and he goes after it or something. The whole sequence was cut. Anyway, so lesson learned, but that is not to say, here's the other story, that is not to say that you can't do really, really, really well by trying to contribute at the story level, like where it's appropriate. And I've always said that the first thing that you need to do when you arrive at a studio is learn how to thumbnail the characters you're working on quickly and accurately. Your first week, fill a sketchbook with thumbnails of the character you're working on. It's going to start off and it's going to be horrible, totally off model, but by the end, Friday afternoon, you'll have a total shorthand. It'll be like 5 quick strokes, and you can, if you're filling it up all the time, okay? Seriously, if you do this, you'll be setting yourself up for success. Here's why. No matter what a thumbnail can describe visually what you're thinking better than you can speak it. So with that visual shorthand, with that ability to communicate really, really quickly, you can present ideas to the right people and then get your ideas considered. You might not be able to get every single one of your ideas taken into the film, but the fact that you have that visual shorthand because you know how to thumbnail the character quickly and accurately is important. Because if you try to do something that the model can't do, and if you thumbnail it that way, then you're going to get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. Because second to worst case scenario is that they just don't think that your idea is very good because you're not drawing the character like it is. And first worst case scenario is they say, oh yeah, that's awesome, and then you've painted yourself into a huge corner because you did something that the model can't do. You drew something that they really want to see now, and now it's like you can't deliver. You've given yourself a whole lot of extra work, and it's impossible to give it to them. So that if you don't thumbnail it accurately, you're in a lot of trouble. But I can't tell you how many times I've been in dailies when they're kicking off a sequence and there's been people and they're just sketching, they're thumbnailing, whatever, and they're coming up with ideas for shots. And they march right up to the supervisor, or they catch the supervisor in the hallway, or they go to their office, after that kickoff meeting and say, I'm not sure what you were thinking of, shots for me, but what do you think of these thumbnails? And then the supervisor might say, like, oh, this is awesome. We weren't thinking about this, but let me think about this. And then, lo and behold, the next day when you get that email with your shot in it, or the coordinator comes by sometimes with a printout, whatever it is, lo and behold, guess who got that shot? The person who was putting in that extra work and really showed an interest in the shot itself. So that's the time when it's appropriate to try to get your own ideas in it, okay? But you've got to understand, on a really big project where the director's name is on the line, and there really does need to be a strong director with a clear vision who's really, you know, bringing everything into one clear, you know, vision, one group. People can't start just jumping out of that and doing their own thing. So you have less and less and less performance choices the bigger you go. Now that doesn't mean that you can't do the performance choices that are required of you in a very you way, in a very unique and a very personal way. Okay, so meaning if it says, you know, Woody wipes a tear, you know what I mean? The storyboard might have him wiping a tear with like one finger, right? But you might do it a certain way that you think that is unique and interesting to watch, and you might do it like with the bottom of your thumb, you know, and then like flick it like that, like a little ping, you know, kind of motion like that. No one's ever seen that before, right? We're used to the one finger, maybe just that ping is something that you want to try and you put in there. If you animate it beautifully, then obviously it'll go into the film, because that was your choice, but it was within the performance choice, and it was within what is appropriate for that moment. All right, but you can't have him take his hat off and then wipe the tear and then, you know, play with his hat a little bit and put it back on or whatever if it's not in there. So some people, I mean, me included, like I like working a little bit more on the smaller level, because I know when I get aboard that what it is basically kind of like a guideline, and anything we put in there that's awesome, they're going to go, yeah, great. And they're going to think that we're really going above and beyond. And a lot of times we are. A lot of times the stuff we do is not like, you know, is not so, you know, strict that we, you know, we don't feel like we can like put our you know, our best you know, ideas into it and really work hard on it. And now I work with remote animators a lot too, and I'll get like an email from a remote animator saying like, hey, I'm looking over my shot and it looks like, you know, there's not enough time. Like what they gave us is you know, not even going to work. You know, can I add 20 frames? Can I add 10 frames or whatever? And I'll say, go ahead, because I know that they're going to do something that's awesome, and the client, they'll make it work. They'll shift their edit around if we give them 20 extra frames, because first of all, they're thinking to themselves, well, we didn't pay for those 20 extra frames, so we're getting 20 extra frames for free. Awesome. And that's the way I'll phrase it to them as well. I say like, hey, we thought of this awesome idea. Here's 20 free frames. You know, smiley face, bing, send, right? But then, you know, they're thinking to themselves, man, this animation's awesome. We'll slide the edit around. We'll cut down 10 frames off of this shot of this kid going, yeah, you know, just to get that animation in there. You know what I mean? So I like it at the smaller level, you know? But I guess to summarize the answer to the question, no. No, no. At the larger level, at the Pixar DreamWorks, the appropriate time to really make broad performance choices is at the story level, and maybe if you are really good at communicating through drawings when you're kicked off on your shot, but it all eventually will have to completely fall within what the writer and director, or if it's the same person, wants to convey in that shot. Okay, so just think about that. A lot of people will say like, oh, it's Pixar or nothing for me. I don't think I would accept an offer from Pixar today. I don't think so. I think I'd rather be doing what I'm doing. So think about it like that. And this has a lot to do with it. It does. You know? No offense to Pixar animators at all, of course. none meant at all. But I think I'm having a little bit more fun doing this than I would be if I was there. So anyway, great question. Please send more. I've said this a couple times in the past few video mails, but for some reason the video mail, the ask questions always dry up at the end of the year. It's happened every single year so far. So please send in questions. Send them my way. I'd love to get them. You can even send me your Maya file so I can open it up on screen and just work out whatever problem you're having. I love to do that as well. All right? Awesome. Don't forget, send them to webmaster@kennyroy.com. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Believe me, if there was, I've asked it. All right, so you don't have to be embarrassed. Just send it in and let me sort it out, okay? Good luck with your animation. Happy New Year, and as always, rock on.